The zipper on my dress was barely pulled up when my mother walked in without knocking. She didn't look at my face. She looked at the mirror. At the room. At everything except me. "Aria," she said flatly, "you'll need to wait." I blinked. "Wait for what?" "For Sloane," she replied, already checking her phone. "Her ceremony is running late. We're shifting things around." The words felt rehearsed. Polite.
Clean.
Like she'd practiced saying them without guilt. I glanced past her, down the hallway where guests were already gathering.
My guests.
Friends who had flown in. People who'd taken time off work. Miles's parents, standing awkwardly with flowers in their hands. "Our ceremony is in an hour," I said. Everything set. My mother finally met my eyes. "This isn't about you right now." Before I could respond, my sister Sloane appeared in the doorway in a cloud of expensive perfume and entitlement. Her gown was massive, dramatic, impossible to ignore, just like her. "Oh, good," she said, smiling like she'd won something. "You heard." "Heard what?" I asked, even though I already knew. "That mine comes first," she said, adjusting her veil. Obviously. I waited for anyone to soften it. To say sorry. To pretend my day mattered too. No one did. My father stood behind Sloane, hands in his pockets. Nodding along like this was a scheduling inconvenience instead of my wedding being pushed aside. "You can do yours later," he said. "It doesn't have to be a big deal." That was the moment something in me went quiet. Not broken. Not angry.
Clear.
I nodded once. "Okay."
Sloane blinked.
My mother's shoulders relaxed. Relief spread across the room like I'd just fixed a problem. "Thank you for being mature," my mother said. Mature.
Right.
I stepped around them, lifted my dress, and walked out of the room without another word. Miles was standing near the back in trance, tie loosened, eyes scanning every face until they landed on me. He knew instantly. "What happened?" he asked softly. "They said hers comes first," I replied. "So mine can wait." His jaw tightened, but his voice stayed calm. "And what do you want?" I didn't hesitate. "I want to stop asking for permission." A slow smile spread across his face. "Then we're on the same page." I raised an eyebrow. "You don't even know the plan." "I don't need to," he said. "I trust you." That trust hit harder than any insult my family had thrown at me. I pulled out my phone. One message. Sent to exactly 3 people. "Plan change. Meet us upstairs."
Now.
Danny, my best friend, replied instantly, "Say less." Miles took my hand. "There's a rooftop terrace," he said quietly. "Not booked. Not decorated." "That's fine," I replied. "I don't need perfect." We took the service elevator up, the hum of the cables filling the silence. My heart was pounding, but not from fear. From momentum. When the doors opened, the sky greeted us. Wide. Open. Glowing with early evening light. The city stretched out below, like it was waiting. A few staff members looked confused. Then curious. Then excited. Danny burst through the doors moments later, breathless and grinning. "You're actually doing this?" "Yes," I said. "Right now." She clapped once. "Good." Someone streamed it. Someone always does. I didn't notice at first. I was too focused on Miles standing in front of me, hands steady, eyes locked on mine like nothing else existed. No aisle. No audience. Just us. We said our vows simply. Honestly. Without an ounce of performance. When he kissed me, applause broke out from strangers, from staff, from people who didn't even know our names.
My phone buzzed nonstop.
I finally looked. Notifications.
Shares.
Messages from numbers I didn't recognize. A video. Me stepping out of the elevator, dress flowing, head held high, had already taken off. Caption. They told her to wait. She didn't. Downstairs, my family was still celebrating the real wedding. They didn't know yet.
But they were about to.
I felt my phone vibrating before I even looked at it. At first, I ignored it. Miles was still holding my hands, his thumbs brushing over my knuckles like he was grounding me in the moment. The city lights behind him flickered on one by one, and for the first time that day, my chest felt light. Not nervous, not tight.
Free.
But the buzzing didn't stop. Danny leaned over and glanced at my screen. Her eyes widened. "Arya, you might want to see this." I exhaled slowly and checked. Messages were pouring in. Missed calls. Mentions.
Tags. Clips.
Someone had uploaded a 30-second video of our ceremony, just enough to show me stepping onto the rooftop, Miles turning toward me, and the way the crowd went quiet when they realized this wasn't staged. The caption read, "When your family's sidelines your wedding, and you level up instead." The views were climbing fast. Tens of thousands. Then more. I stared at the numbers, stunned. Miles leaned closer. "You okay?" I nodded, but my voice came out shaky. I think people are watching." He smiled, calm as ever.
Good.
"Let them." Downstairs, the ballroom doors burst open. I didn't see it happen, but I heard about it seconds later. My cousin Brianna texted first. "What did you do?" Then my Aunt Marlene.
Call me right now.
Then my mother. 6 missed calls. No voicemail. Danny snorted softly.
Oh.
It started. I didn't feel triumphant. Not yet. Mostly, I felt steady. They didn't care when it was me waiting, I said quietly. They care now because people are looking. Miles squeezed my hand. "That's not on you." We descended the stairs together, not rushing, not hiding. By the time we reached the main floor, the energy had changed. Guests were no longer focused on Sloane's grand exit or the champagne tower or the perfectly timed music. They were staring at their phones. Whispers rippled across the room. "Isn't that her? That's the other bride, right? Did you see the video?" Sloane stood near the center of it all, bouquet clenched tightly in her hand. Her smile was frozen, wide, practiced, cracking at the edges.
She spotted me.
Her face dropped. "What is this?" she hissed, marching toward me. "Why are people filming you?" I met her gaze calmly. "Because they were there." "You had no right," she snapped. "Today is my day." I tilted my head slightly. "You told me to wait." I did. That confused her, angered her. My mother pushed through the crowd, breathless. "Arya, this is inappropriate." "Inappropriate," I repeated, genuinely curious. "You turned this into a spectacle," she said. "People are talking." "Yes," I replied evenly. "They are." My father finally spoke, voice low and irritated. "You embarrassed the family." I looked at him, really looked at him. At the man who hadn't defended me once. "No," I said. I embarrassed the lie. That stopped him. Around us, phones lifted higher. No one was yelling. No one was causing a scene. But everyone was watching. Sloane laughed sharply. "You think this makes you special? This will blow over by tomorrow." Danny leaned in and whispered, trending number 3. I didn't even have to say it. Sloane checked her phone. The color drained from her face. My mother followed. Then my aunt. Then my father. The room filled with an awkward silence broken only by notification sounds, chimes and buzzes echoing off the walls. I took a step forward, my voice calm but clear. "I didn't steal your moment," I said. "I created my own." Sloane's lips trembled. "You always do this," she said bitterly. "You always make it about you." I smiled sadly.
"No."
"You always assume it is." Miles stepped beside me then, his presence steady and undeniable. "We're leaving," he said politely. "Enjoy the rest of your evening." And just like that, we walked away. Outside, the night air wrapped around us again. Cameras flashed. People clapped. Someone cheered. I laughed, soft, surprised, real. "I didn't plan for this," I admitted. Miles chuckled. Neither did they. As we got into the car, my phone buzzed again. A notification from a major page I recognized. "We'd love to feature your wedding story. Let us know if you're interested." I stared at it, stunned. Danny gasped. "Oh my, Arya." I leaned back, heart racing now for a different reason. For the first time in my life, I hadn't waited. And the world noticed. The car ride away from the venue felt unreal. City lights streaked past the windows while my phone sat heavy in my lap, still buzzing every few seconds. I finally flipped it face down, like I needed to remind myself that this night was real even without the screen confirming it. Miles glanced over at me, smiling softly. "You're quiet." "I'm trying to breathe," I said, half laughing. Everything just exploded. He reached for my hand. "You handled it with grace." I shook my head.
No.
"I handled it with honesty. There's a difference." When we got home, our home, the quiet felt sacred. No planners. No guests. No expectations. Just us. Danny dropped onto the couch and kicked off her shoes. "I give it 10 minutes before your family shows up here." I winced.
Please don't say that.
She raised an eyebrow. "You know I'm right."
She was.
The knock came sooner than expected. 3 sharp taps. Controlled. Familiar. I didn't move at first. Miles stood. "Do you want me to handle it?" I thought about my mother's voice. My father's disappointment. Sloane's entitlement. "No," I said quietly. "This time I will." I opened the door. My parents stood there, rigid and uncomfortable. Sloane was behind them, arms crossed, her makeup slightly smudged, her crown of perfection finally slipping. "We need to talk," my mother said. "I know," I replied. "So do I." They stepped inside, glancing around like they were entering a place they didn't quite recognize. My father cleared his throat. "What you did tonight, it made us look bad." I nodded slowly. "That's not what hurts you. What hurts is that people saw the truth without me explaining it." Sloane scoffed. "You let strangers judge us." I met her eyes. "I let strangers see me choose myself." Silence fell. My mother sighed. "Arya, we didn't mean to push you aside. It was just timing." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I simply said, "You've been choosing her timing over my life for years." My mother opened her mouth, then closed it, because she knew it was true. "I'm not asking for an apology," I continued. "I'm asking for acknowledgement." Sloane laughed bitterly. "You always want validation." I looked at her calmly.
No.
I wanted respect. That landed. Miles stepped closer, not to defend me, but to stand with me. That difference mattered. My father exhaled heavily. "What do you want from us now?" I thought for a moment. "Nothing," I said. "That's the point." They stared at me, confused. "I didn't do this to punish you," I said. "I did it to stop shrinking." My mother's eyes filled slightly. "We raised you better than this." I smiled gently. "You raised me to survive. I taught myself how to live." That was it. There was nothing left to argue. They left quietly. No shouting. No drama. Just the sound of a door closing on a chapter that had already ended. Danny let out a long breath. "I'm proud of you." I sat down beside Miles, exhaustion finally settling into my bones. My phone buzzed again. I glanced at it. The video had crossed millions of views. Comments flooded in, people sharing their own stories, thanking me for not backing down, calling it inspiring. I never thought my wedding would matter to strangers. But it wasn't about the wedding. It was about choice. Miles kissed my forehead. "Ready for the next part?" I frowned. "What next part?" He grinned. "You didn't think the story stopped here, did you?" I laughed, leaning into him. "No," I admitted. "I think this is just the beginning." Outside, the city hummed on, unaware that somewhere inside a quiet apartment, a woman had finally stepped into her own space. And for the first time, I didn't wonder if it was enough. I knew it was. The morning after felt quieter than I expected. No alarms. No rushing. Just sunlight sliding through the curtains and the steady warmth of Miles beside me. For once, my first thought wasn't about who I needed to please or what I needed to fix. It was simple. I smiled. My phone, however, had other plans. When I picked it up, the screen lit up with messages stacked so high I couldn't see the bottom. Emails from outlets. Invitations for interviews. Notes from people I didn't know saying my wedding gave them courage to stop waiting for their turn. I sat up slowly, heart full in a way that felt new. Miles stirred. Please tell me the world didn't end overnight. I laughed softly.
No.
Apparently, it noticed. He propped himself up on one elbow. You okay with that? I thought about it. I am, I said. Because this time, it's on my terms. Later that morning, Danny came over with coffee and pastries like she was celebrating a holiday. You're officially a symbol, she declared. People are calling it the step-aside wedding. I groaned. Please don't let that stick.
She grinned.
Too late. But the attention didn't feel heavy. It felt validating. Not because I needed applause, but because I hadn't been wrong for wanting more. That afternoon, I received a message that stopped me cold. It was from the venue owner. We'd like to make a public apology for how you were treated and offer you a complimentary celebration on your schedule with your guest list. I stared at the screen, stunned. Miles squeezed my hand. You don't owe them anything. I know, I said, but I want to respond. I typed back slowly, carefully. Thank you. I accept, with one condition. This time, it's not about luxury. It's about intention. The reply came almost instantly. Understood. Weeks passed. The noise faded into something manageable. My family kept their distance, not cold, just cautious. Sloane never apologized, but she stopped competing. My parents began calling, not to instruct, but to ask. It was a start. On a crisp evening weeks later, Miles and I stood once again beneath soft lights, this time surrounded by only the people who had shown up for us without hesitation. No schedules. No comparisons. Just warmth. As we danced, Miles leaned in and whispered, You know what everyone's really reacting to? I smiled. What? Not the video. Not the timing, he said. The fact that you didn't wait to be chosen. I swallowed hard. I almost did. But you didn't, he replied. And that's everything. When the night ended, I looked around at the faces laughing, the music drifting gently into the air, and I felt something settle inside me.
Peace.
My family had called one wedding real and the other something that could wait.
But the truth was simpler than that.
The moment I chose myself, that was the real ceremony. And it didn't just change one night. It changed everything.